Guys all ready? Today we're here once again to talk about something that is extremely important to every New York City police officer that pushes radio cars around the city, that stand on foot posts in the cold, doing one thing: protecting your rights to live free, speak free, and live without the fear of crime or terrorism. And unfortunately, in cases like this, we have to do this every 2 years. And we're talking about the possible parole of cop killers. Men who cold-bloodedly pumped rounds into 2 hero police officers in 1971, who were responding to the Colonial Park houses to do one thing: to help an aided case, to help someone that was sick. What they didn't know is that it was a bogus call, and there was domestic terrorists waiting to take them off the face of the earth. Every 2 years, this family has to tell the story again and again to the victims' impact statement, to the parole board. They live with this each and every day. And what they do when they go to that board is they tell the story of how their life has changed for the worst without their husband and father. Joseph Piagentini and Waverly Jones were both fathers. Joseph Piagentini and Waverly Jones were husbands. Joseph Piagentini left his 2 daughters behind, who had to grow up without having the guiding hand of their father at all those special times that we all live for. That takes courage. The courage they show every day by rising in the morning and doing what they do gives the courage to men like this and women that wear our uniform to go out and do their job. Why? Because if they can rise in the morning and live with this grief that never goes away, well, we can do the difficult job that we do, knowing that we're walking in the footsteps of 2 great men, 2 heroes. Now, these domestic terrorists, as they like to think they are, they think they were fighting for a cause which they weren't. They were murderers, plain and simple, that laid in wait and ambushed New York City police officers, plain and simple. For 40 years they claimed that they were innocent. Well, we have their parole statements. And their parole statements, in their words, tell a different story, where they say, yes, we killed these 2 hero police officers. Yes, we attempted to assassinate a police sergeant in California. And yes, they're guilty then, and they're guilty now, and no cop killer should ever walk the face of the earth. In order to do that, we need your help. We need the public's help. And what we've done is we've set up a website, and the website is very easy to navigate. Go to nycpba.org. On the opening page, follow the arrow down to keep cop killers in jail. With one click of the mouse, you can help us keep cop killers off the street. You can pick the individual cases of the death of hero police officers, or you can click one button and give your opinion to keep them all behind bars. All we need is your last name and your zip code, nothing else. When we created this, we hoped that the public would respond, and they have. In the hundreds of thousands. When you take that 2 minutes to click that button, click that mouse, a letter goes in each folder of each killer and follows them throughout their time in prison. What that does is ensure that the true story is told. And when that true story is told, there's no living, compassionate human, whether a parole commissioner or a citizen standing on the street, would say allow them to walk the streets freely. None ever should. With me today here is Diane Piagentini, the widow of Joseph Piagentini, and Joseph's daughter, Mary. No one can show proper respect and tell the story more succinctly than a family member. So it's our honor as New York City police officers for me to turn this podium over to the widow of Joseph Piagentini, Diane Piagentini, as she tells the story of life before and life after the death of Joseph Piagentini. Diane.
Every 2 years, 1 week before Christmas, I receive a letter from the Department of Corrections that Herman Bell is seeking parole. In May, just before May 21st, I receive another letter also that Anthony Bottom is seeking parole in June. On May 21st, 1971, my husband, Joseph Piagentini, and his partner, Waverly Jones, were gunned down from behind while coming out of the Harlem projects after answering a call for help in a domestic dispute. Herman Bell and Anthony Bottom lay in wait to kill 2 police officers to assassinate them. This was a calculated, premeditated act laced with hate for the blue uniform and the 2 men who wore it. Waverly was killed instantly, shot in the back of the head as they walked up behind him. Joe died on the sidewalk, pleading for them not to kill him, his last words being, "I have a wife and 2 kids." When it was over, he had 22 bullet holes in his body. Herman Bell took his revolver out of the holster and also proceeded to shoot him again. He died on the sidewalk on a dark and rainy night in Harlem, doing what he loved, being a good, caring police officer. His wife waiting for him, his 2 daughters in bed, one daughter just finishing her bottle, and his dinner on the stove, waiting for him to come home. With a knock at the door and a police car in the front of the house, I was told he was killed and he would never come home again. Our lives have been changed forever. In 2010, Herman Bell finally admitted that he walked up behind Joe and shot him multiple times, taking Joe's revolver and shooting him again before he walked away. This is the act of a vicious, unfeeling killer. His partner, Anthony Bottom, shot Waverly Jones in the back of the head multiple times. He died instantly. These are the actions of 2 cold-blooded killers showing no remorse, and they have not shown any remorse for what they've done. Every 2 years, these killers come up for parole, Herman Bell in February and Anthony Bottom in June. It is now 2014, and he is seeking to be released. It took 40 years for him to finally admit to such a heinous act, that his sentence should start again upon his admission of guilt and continue until the end of time. Herman Bell still considers himself a political prisoner, and his ideology has not changed. He should never be released from prison, and his parole must be denied always. He should never be able to walk the streets of New York or any other city again. I would like to thank the PBA and Pat Lynch and all its members for standing behind Joe, myself, and my family all these years. Before he died, Joe said to me that if anything happened to him, the department would be there for us. The PBA has set up a website for you to help keep these killers in jail and any other cop killers that may come up for parole. Herman Bell and Anthony Bottom must be denied parole always. Thank you.
This is an issue that's important to every New York City police officer, regardless of what rank or shield we wear on our chest, because it could have been any one of us that responded to that aided call. It could have been any one of our daughters or sons that were left without a father's guiding hand. This is an issue that we work hand in hand with the department. As you see in our press release, there's quotes from Police Commissioner Bratton. Commissioner Bratton has always also made this link available on the NYPD website as well. So we ask you, please help us help you. If these mutts would kill a New York City police officer in full uniform, on patrol, they will and could kill you. So we need your help to help us, but we need your help so you help the entire city and every person that lives, works, visits, or passes through New York City. I thank you for covering this story, and we'll take any kind of questions you may have.
Why would guys who commit such a heinous crime even have the right and the audacity to go in front of a parole board in the first place?
Because these are people, like Diane and Mary stated, that will not take responsibility for what they've done, shown no remorse. So if you cannot show remorse for killing a police officer, seeing what it's done to a family, seeing what it's done to the daughters, then you'll have the backbone to go before a parole board. Why? Because they're selfish animals that want one thing. They want everything for themselves and nothing for anyone else. And that's why.
Excuse me, in 2004, the children of the other officer advocated for their release. Any comment on that?
One stepson did. The rest of the family did not. We've lost track of where they are. Diane, fortunately, stays active within our widows and children's, and we meet and talk on a regular basis, as well as during the holidays and stuff. We try to join hands and be together. So it's nothing more than being able to get access. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you taking the time to cover this story. I thank my executive board for taking time from the field to come in here today and be with us to show the support. They represent every police officer that drives a radio car or stands a foot post and wears our proud shield on our chest. So I thank them all for taking the time to stand here, put their hand on the shoulders to two heroes that go on each and every day during difficult times. Thank you, everyone. Great.